let's tour around some of the basics of stitch length, stitch width, and needle positions on the Bernina 480. So one thing I do like is that I can make any adjustment I want while I'm stitching. So right now on a straight stitch, if I want to make it longer, just go ahead and make it longer. You'll see the numbers turn yellow and then the stitches get longer. The size of stitch you see on screen is the actual size it's stitching down here on the fabric. Here, I'll prove it to you. So let's pick a zigzag, and now for width, we can make it wider, all the way up to 9 millimeters if you have foot 1C on, and as many settings in between as you go. So let me use the thread cutter and lift up the presser foot, and notice that if I made the zigzag all the way up to the widest setting, that matches how wide it shows on the fabric. So you can do all the stitches at different settings as you go. Did you notice that when I went back to the straight stitch, it was still on the long stitch length that I had left it on? It doesn't clear it out just because I moved from stitch to stitch. That happens on other machines, but not Bernina's. Not until you actually touch the clear button will it clear out the settings just for that one stitch and not for the other stitches that you might have changed. So I love to set up my projects where I might have this a little longer and my zigzags a little wider. I can leave everything where I want and even go back between the stitches multiple times. Now once I turn the machine off, those will clear off unless I have saved them into the heart area or my personal program. Now let's talk needle position. So I'm going to just go back to a normal stitch length by pushing clear, and needle positions can be moved. Once again, did you notice my needle's in the fabric? So even though I'm moving the needle position to the far left and the stitch moved on the screen, it doesn't actually change until the needle's at the highest position. So now it's over here on the far left, and there's 11 needle positions all the way across. So you can try that out. You also can adjust needle positions for a stitch. So watch this. Right now the stitch is kind of center, but if I want the stitch to be left or right justified within my sewing area, I can have that be stitching over here on the far right side, or I can have it be stitching anywhere in between there, even over on the far left side. So I have complete control, whether that's just the utility stitch or any of the decorative stitches. Also, you can see how I was able to stitch over here and then stitch over here with needle position. And again, once I push clear, everything will go back to the beginning on that particular stitch.